John Bolton, a former U.S. diplomat and one-time national security advisor to former President Donald Trump, on Tuesday told CNN he'd helped plan attempted coups in foreign countries. Bolton made the remarks in response to accusations that Trump pushed a multi-pronged effort to overturn the results of the 2020 U.S. election in a last-ditch and potentially illegal bid to remain in power. Asked about this allegation, the former Trump advisor suggested on Tuesday the 45th president was simply not competent enough to execute a, quote, carefully planned coup d'etat, adding, quote, as somebody who has helped plan coups d'etat, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did. Bolton served as Trump's national security advisor in 2019 when Venezuelan opposition leader Juan Guaido called on that country's military to oust President Nicolas Maduro, claiming a recent election was illegitimate. Bolton supported Guaido.
I can tell you there's a lot going on beneath the surface. The opposition is in constant contact with large numbers of admirals and other supporters within the Maduro administration.
But Venezuela's military stuck with Maduro, who remained in power. Pressed on Tuesday by CNN anchor Jake Tapper to elaborate, Bolton said he would not get into specifics and did not mention Venezuela, but said, quote, it turned out not to be successful. Many foreign policy experts have, over the years, criticized Washington's history of interventions in foreign countries, but it is highly unusual for U.S. officials to openly acknowledge their role in stoking unrest in foreign countries.
I don't know that I agree with you, to be fair, with all due respect. One doesn't have to be brilliant to attempt a coup.
I disagree with that. As somebody who has helped plan coup d'etat, not here, but other places, it takes a lot of work, and that's not what he did. It was just stumbling around from one idea to another. Ultimately, he did unleash the rioters at the Capitol. As to that, there's no doubt. To anathematize the rest of the Republican Party, and that's unacceptable.
I do want to ask a follow-up. When we were talking about what is capable, what you need to do to be able to plan a coup, and you cited your expertise having planned coups.
I'm not going to get into the specifics, but
successful coups?
Well, I wrote about Venezuela in the book, and it turned out not to be successful. Not that we had all that much to do with it, but I saw what it took for an opposition to try and overturn an illegally elected president, and they failed. The notion that Donald Trump was half as competent as the Venezuelan opposition is laughable. But I think there's another...
I feel like there's other stuff you're not telling me, though.
I'm sure there is. I think there's another point here that came out in the testimony that's not been stressed enough. Deposition testimony by, I think his name was Donnell Harvin. I may have taken that down wrong. The chief of intelligence and homeland security for the District of Columbia government, who said we were watching Twitter after Trump's tweet calling for the demonstration on January the 6th. We saw all of these implications, all of the concerns about the violence. I want to know where the rest of the government was, and I particularly want to know where members of Congress were. If this was so evident at the time, why there wasn't more security on the Hill long before the demonstrators ever turned up?
No, it's a good question, absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people who just lived here and had been paying attention were aware that there was a real potential for violence on that day.
I hope the